Welcome to another episode of Pilots Say What, where we get to hear what pilots have to say. And today we'll be talking with Matt as one of the students who's moving along in our program here at Thrust Flight. So we'll get into the usual of getting to know why you're here and what got you into aviation, but also kind of what's helping you move along in the program. And then hopefully there's some insight for the listeners who are thinking about flight training or are in flight training. That way we can kind of just share the world of aviation. But without any further ado, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yep, my name's Matt Donnelly. I came to Thrust to get all my ratings, and it's been great. Getting to know a lot of cool people, a lot of other students in
Yeah.
the program. Instructors are great. Dispatch people are great. Like everyone's great. The community is just great here, and that's what I love about it too.
Sweet, sweet.
Like one of the
Yeah,
big
and I'm
things.
glad you're enjoying it because I hear a lot of people say that they like the community aspect of it, and that's not something they necessarily expected. So,
Yeah, no, it's definitely not.
yeah,
I was at a flight school previously, and the community just wasn't like as good as it is here at Thrust,
right.
which I mean, like, yeah, you can't make it up. It's just great. Like everyone knows each other, can talk about anything.
hmm
It's great.
it's funny when I'm sure at maybe the school you were at before, maybe if you were a part of any teams or programs, everyone wants to have like a family like atmosphere or like talk about community. And I've learned like from all the different places I've been around, you can't really force it. You can't create
Yeah.
culture. It just kind of happens.
Yep.
So I don't know if you can tell the difference, like if it's any different than somewhere else where they claim to have community. Could you like, is there any difference you could tell? Is there any experience you have there?
Um, no, not really.
Yeah,
It's just I think like all of the kids here are in the same boat, like just wanting to get through the program as fast as they possibly can,
right.
and like everyone working together just makes it happen. Like you
Mm.
can't do it on your own. You have to
hmm
have other people help you too at some point. So
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I always wonder if people understand what we mean when we say community, and I think it's that you're just kind of in the same boat. I think that's the biggest point.
yeah.
So one of my first questions for you is, what is something that you think people should know about you in order to kind of understand you? Like, what's a little thing that you'd want people to know about you?
All right.
Kind of broad.
I think I would say I'm like kind of a jokester. I like
Yeah.
joking around a lot.
hmm
Like making jokes, making
Yeah.
people laugh, makes me happy,
Yeah.
and yeah, I just love to get to know people. I'm a pretty shy person, but once I get to know you, I open up like really well. So
Yeah, I relate to that myself. And so do you feel like that kind of helps people? You think once you kind of can make a joke around people, you've kind of opened up, and that's kind of the people that you're like, oh, I can be around these people now, right?
yep, definitely. That's
Gotcha.
exactly what goes through my mind.
Yeah, I'm kind of that way. I think I'm a pretty extroverted person, but it takes me a second to warm up to some people. So
Yep,
that's why I like
exactly.
doing this.
Yeah.
Let's zoom out a little bit. What's the first time you could remember, actually being interested in aviation? Because you're here at Thrust Flight now, and you're moving through your ratings. What's one of the first times you remember being interested?
Yep. So the first time I remember being interested was my dad was in the army for like 25 years, so we moved around
Mm,
every 2, 3 years growing up. Lived in different countries like England and South
mm,
Korea. And my brother is 5 years older than me. He wanted to become a pilot to just travel a lot because that's what we grew up doing.
yeah,
And I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. I want to do the same thing. So I'm just following his footsteps, kind of.
sweet,
And I love it so far. It's
gotcha.
great.
That's good. So I'm sure you have someone you can ask questions to
Oh,
even
yeah.
before you guys started, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's helped me out like a lot of times. And like all of his friends, too, that he went through training with have been helping me out. I've
hmm
been flying with them sometimes. Like, it's just
Yeah.
great.
It goes a long way, and because a lot of people come in and they're like, I know I want to do this, but I also know I know nothing about it, and so everyone starts at different levels. Just to kind of for a point of reference, where are you at in your program now?
Yep, so I just started my CFII training and just finished CFI last week. That was a great milestone for me. I loved that.
hmm It's a big
And
deal.
yeah, big deal.
Yeah.
Big deal for me.
Is that something that you kind of knew that you were going to end up having to, come across like the CFI part of things? And do you plan on being a CFI?
Yeah, I plan on being a CFI
hmm
100%. And yeah, I kind of expected like I was going to be faced up with those challenges
hmm
and different things I needed to learn, like
Yeah.
flying in the right seat. That was a big jump. So,
Yeah, I hear it's kind of a different feel, especially because a lot of the controls you're going to be using, you go from using it to a different hand, right?
yep, yep.
Yeah, I always wondered. I think I had a DPE tell me that he thought it was strange that people would reach over with their other hand to start the plane sometimes, and I'm like, they might have just freshly switched seats or something, or maybe it's just uncomfortable.
Yeah, I almost wish like I could just switch my steering wheel on the car to the other side so I can get used to it more. But
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that aspect
yeah,
because you're used to also driving on the other side.
yep.
Such a weird thing. Do you ever have instances where I always wondered this? I'm not a pilot. All right, so but um, do you have instances when you're trying to drive that you kind of have instincts that kick in that are more for flying than driving?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah,
Yeah.
like rudder pedals, like
Uh-huh.
pressing the gas and the brakes. Sometimes I'll be like, if I'm flying a lot that day, I'll maybe do that, but
Yeah.
it's not too bad. Not too
Right.
bad.
I drive a standard car, and sometimes when my girlfriend, I'll drive her car, and it's not. I'll try to shift or something. I'm like, oh, I can't do that
Yep.
here. So that's why I've always wondered. Um, okay, so you have family that flies, and you know that that was just something you were kind of interested in. So let's say you're going through high school or something like that. At what point do you kind of take a step towards looking into starting aviation?
Yeah, so I was talking to my parents a lot about it throughout high school,
Hmm.
and we were just looking at several different aviation programs.
Hmm.
They mentioned the zero time to airline program,
Hmm.
but I first went to a different university program for like trying to get the restricted ATP aspect,
Yes, sir.
and then that didn't really work out, so I had to leave there.
Yeah.
And my brother ended up he started at the same school as I did
Right.
too, like 5 years ahead of me, but he ended up leaving as well, coming to Thrust, getting the rest of his certificates. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now.
Right, and you're in your mind though. You're thinking you could get it to the restricted ATP because if you get a degree in aviation, you're able to go at what 1,200 hours or something.
Yeah, I think so, something like that.
Yeah, and I've heard people talk about that, but it seems it could be a little bit difficult. So what is it that kind of pushed the envelope for like maybe this isn't the route. Maybe I'll go ahead and transfer. What kind of initiated that?
Yeah, I just wanted to like focus on the ball, like just aviation purely, no other classes, and
Hmm.
just focus as like being the best pilot I could be in like such a restricted amount of time.
Hmm.
So that's like definitely the grind time right now
Yeah.
is gonna pay off soon. So
That makes sense.
yeah.
Well, is the main reason you wanted to go to the university because you could get the ATP and also get a degree, or was there any other motivations there?
Yeah, it was definitely the ATP
Uh-huh.
and a degree and just having like kind of like a college experience
Hmm.
because my high school experience just wasn't as good, I don't think.
Yeah,
So yeah, I just kind of wanted to like venture out a little bit more, be on my own, away from my parents.
yeah,
And
and
that
that
was
makes
good
sense.
for growing up. That was good for growing up.
Yeah, do you feel like that kind of helped you transition into this program?
Yes, yeah.
Because in contrast, what do you think it may have been like if you just transferred straight into thrust? Do you think it would have been difficult? Do you think you maybe wish you would have, or do you think it worked out the way it should have?
Yeah, I think I kind like it's both sides. Like I kind of wish I would have just went to Thrust right out of high school and just
Right.
got all of my certificates as fast as possible. Like I know some instructors here have.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I got to know a lot of people at the university I was at, make a lot of connections and friends.
Mhm.
And I mean, aviation's all about connections. So
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. And I feel like I hear that on most episodes that people like talk about who they know and who they've met and how it's helped them. I'm sure that helps a lot. But so let's fast forward to when you get here at Thrust. You're coming in at instrument at that point, right?
yep.
Uh, do you have any expectation of kind of what it's going to be like, or how did that go?
Yeah, so I didn't really have an expectation on how it was gonna be like,
Hmm.
cause at the university I was at, I got my private, and then
Hmm.
there was 2 courses before instrument, so I did both of those, and then didn't really have an idea on what instrument was gonna be like.
Yeah,
So when I came here and we just went in the cockpit and started doing instrument flying, like I was like, wow, this is really cool. This is what everyone at the airline does. Like they
yeah.
file like instrument flight plans,
Uh-huh.
all of that stuff. So it's
Okay.
pretty cool.
Cool, cool, cool. And the transition from university to Thrust, was that difficult at all, or what were some of the details that went into that?
No, definitely not difficult at
No,
all. Like
no.
just easier to get to know people,
Hmm.
and like I could relate to them. A lot of people and students at Thrust went to university before,
Hmm.
and some were at the same university I was at. So
Okay.
that was just like instant connection. We would just talk about it,
Yeah.
and yeah, I got to know each other well.
So are you doing housing here then?
I do have housing, but I also live like 20 minutes north.
Okay.
So that's like something like my parents thought it would be a great idea to just get a little crash pad if I had
Hmm.
like a really early flight or if I just needed to seclude myself,
Right.
study up alone, and with the roommates there that live there as well.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sure it's nice. I think a lot of students have told us that it's kind of a game changer to live with people who are on the same journey as you.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's something you're experiencing yet, but I hear that that's a big part of it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely a big part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I want to ask about your first flight too. I'm jumping around a little bit here,
Oh, you're good.
but you knew you wanted to fly. When was your first flight? Did you take a discovery flight? Did you get to fly with a family?
Yep, my first flight was with my brother. It was a
Mhm.
discovery flight in a
Okay.
Cessna, and we did 2 hours. It was just me, him, and my dad was in the back seat.
Yeah.
We went up, and then he was like, "All right, Matt, take the control of the plane." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Started flying around. I was like, "Wow, this is like really cool. I'm in an airplane flying." Like, it was just crazy to me.
It's an interesting thought to know that you're sitting there in a discovery flight with your brother and your dad who fly, right?
Yeah.
So for you, you must feel like you're in good hands. I wonder what the difference is in the mentality, because to you it's almost like, oh yeah, of course, like people do this all the time. So did you feel kind of um did you expect it to be difficult? Did you kind of feel like, oh, this is totally achievable? I mean, and did your family go through? Well, you already told me about your brother. Did your dad kind of go through a similar route? Did he know anyone?
Yeah, so my dad, he flew Apaches in the Army, like those
Okay.
helicopters, and he was
Uh-huh.
like going on deployments a lot when I was growing up.
Mhm.
So there's that, and then I knew that the journey was going to be hard because like even my brother struggled through it, and
Mhm.
he was like a straight A student growing up. I
Okay.
was more of like I was a gymnast for 12 years, so I just
Uh-huh.
focused on gymnastics, trying to get to college with that.
Mhm.
But yeah, once I fell in love with aviation, I was like, dang, I just want to do that
You
now.
just want
So
to do that. That's really cool. And then I guess one thing I'm wondering is there anything like how do your parents feel about you wanting to fly? Or how I mean, how supportive are they? I mean, they already know that your brother and your dad, right?
yeah.
So when it comes to the things like money and what you're gonna do until you get to the airlines, are they kind of on board with some of the things that are gonna come across there?
Yeah, they're so
Yeah,
supportive.
yeah,
They're like literally giving me everything they have right now
yeah,
and supporting my little sister who just went to the University of Alabama too.
yeah,
So like they're just full on supporting me
yeah.
getting to where I want to go, just like they did for my older brother.
Right.
So
I feel like that's kind of like it can be its own sort of pressure. Because I mean, if I like fail or something, and if my parents aren't helping me out, well, at least I'm not necessarily affecting my parents or something like that. But does that play into things at all for you?
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I feel bad when I do, and especially when I like left the university, they were like really sorry for me and
Yeah.
like they welcomed me with open arms
That's nice.
and we're like, all right, let's look at the ZTA program. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. And
Yeah.
they just got me really invested in it all
Yeah.
again. So it was great.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, I want to ask you about some of the difficulties of being here at Thrust. You've been here for about, I think, maybe 9 months, and you just said that you're working on your CFII.
Yep.
So I kind of want to start back at instrument. And you said it was real exciting to get in there because it felt more like what you imagine the airline flying to be like with the flows and the plans.
Yeah.
Um, uh, what was something that's been difficult when you got here, starting at maybe even instrument? Is there a maneuver or like a thought process that was hard for you?
Um, Not really. Like I just got to know how does things, the cockpit flows, like
Hmm.
where definitely the airspace. The
Yeah,
airspace was a big part. Like this
yeah,
DFW airspace is crazy compared to like Oklahoma. I was just flying around like in open fields and stuff, could do
yeah,
whatever I want really. And coming here and learning how to do all of that, like communicating way better, like looking out for more traffic, and it was just really cool. Like all of
yeah.
that aspect, I'm like way more used to it now than I ever thought I could be.
Yeah, and
So
that's a whole nother side of the journey, I guess. And people talk about that when they come to this airport. Uh, do you have any tips for someone who's maybe getting used to ATC and a lot of communications?
yeah, just take it slow. Maybe I know that there's like ATC live on like the web that you can listen to other air traffic controllers and
Yeah,
pilots talk to each other. I did that for a little bit. I would because like I listen to rain sounds when I sleep, so sometimes I would just do that when I sleep and just listen to that, fall asleep to
yeah, I've
that.
done that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it worked out great.
yeah,
So I definitely got used to it.
hmm
I'm not perfect, but at the end of the day, it's just speaking English to them. Like you just got to talk
yeah.
to them.
And I think it could feel. Did you feel a lot of like there's a lot of pressure to say it the right way?
Yeah,
And has that kind of worn off a little bit in the sense that it's more about communicating than it is really saying things the right way, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of like different air traffic controllers. Some like speak really fast, and you're like, "Whoa, what did you just say? Like,
yeah.
can you repeat that?" And
Is that
then
what you say? Can you repeat that?
yeah, sometimes I
Yeah.
haven't really done that in a while because one of them got like pretty mad at me for doing that. So I was like, oh, I'm never gonna ask that again.
That's
But
rough.
if I need to, I'll do it.
Of course, because you kind of got to hear what they say.
Oh yeah, very important.
We have an episode up with some the ATC guys, and they were talking to us, and I know that between pilots and the ATC, sometimes it's kind of like who said what, and people can get frustrated. But they were saying, at the end of the day, we just need to make sure we're on the same page,
Yep.
and that's what it kind of seems like to me.
Yeah, definitely at like busy airports like Addison, just got to be like focused. Like
Yeah,
just
absolutely
focused
locked
straight up.
in.
Yep.
I'm the kind of person who sometimes I can struggle with making things out, so I would definitely be listening to the radios online just to kind of get used to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it helped me out, and I recommended it to like a lot of other people too. So
Hmm.
it's great.
Gotcha. And then so you go into commercial after that. What
Yep.
was it like going from instrument to commercial in terms of the things you're learning?
Okay, so like going to commercial, it's like way more maneuver based. You're not really doing any maneuvers in instrument. You're
Hmm.
just mainly communicating, making sure you know how to communicate and understand what's going on, do
Right.
approaches, and flying in the clouds like without seeing anything and just focus on your instruments. And that was really cool. And then going back to commercial, just learning how to maneuver the plane,
Hmm.
like the abilities and capabilities of what the plane can do was
Right.
like finding out all of that,
Yeah.
learning how to like land way better and way more precise.
Hmm.
And I liked commercial a lot. It taught me a lot about aviation, and
Right.
then I had a great instructor throughout commercial as well.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. And uh, I hear that it can be a little difficult to sort of get used to not looking at the controls as much, and like you said, focus more on the maneuvers, like the sight picture and things like that that allow you to do those maneuvers. Was there any friction there for you? Did you kind of have to adapt?
yeah, I definitely did.
Yeah.
I know I didn't start out perfect and would like fall out of standards on a lot of the maneuvers at first, but
Hmm.
like just working on it and talking about it with my instructor,
Hmm.
he would do one and I would watch and then I would just like replicate that,
Hmm.
and like I would just get the hang of it and it would be a
Hmm.
habit. So
Makes sense. The way you talk about it a little bit is it makes me wonder, like, what were some of the difficulties so far though, from like private through commercial? I mean, is the book knowledge difficult? Is the maneuvering difficult? What's something that you feel like you kind of had to apply a little extra effort towards?
definitely the ground knowledge.
Yeah.
Like I thought I knew a lot after private, but there was just so many gaps and I
Hmm.
had to fill all of those gaps and just go back and just restudy a lot of the stuff, the basics,
Yeah.
understand those way better. And that
Hmm.
helped me a lot throughout commercial.
Hmm.
Definitely like throughout the stage checks and everything.
Hmm.
So,
Was there
because
anything that did pop up specifically? Was there like maybe a portion of the ground knowledge that's like, oh, that's tripping me up and I didn't know that, and what'd you do about it if you can think of a scenario?
yeah, I would just ask my other friends at the school, my buddies, see if they knew what it was, and they would sometimes, or if they didn't, I would just go and ask an instructor,
Right.
or I would just like look stuff up like online, because
Mhm.
I mean they have a lot of answers too on there.
Exactly. Yeah,
So,
there's a lot of stuff. YouTube University, right?
oh yeah, yep.
But can you think of a scenario in which you kind of had to, kind of like you realize you weren't maybe where you needed to be? Like, is there anything particular?
Maybe like the written
Mhm.
tests, the written knowledge tests, like
Mhm.
practicing those.
That one sounds like it would trip me up. That the all the writtens, because I'm not of like just a pure information kind of guy.
Yeah, it's like I'm not a good test taker, but
Yeah.
those are like just straight written memorization. If you can memorize like all of those questions,
Uh-huh.
like you'll be good.
You're right.
So,
What'd you do to kind of prepare for your writtens? Because I hear the writtens is like definitely a point of friction for a lot of people.
yep, I used one of the Thrust provided us with like what's it called? I forgot what the
We have the two apps, but the one for private and then one for the rest of the ratings, right? Is that what you're talking about?
yes, yeah.
We
Yeah,
sponsor the purchase of the app and the program, so
yeah, and that is great. Like it
yeah.
got me such high scores on my written and tests and
Hmm.
everything. So just studying that, looking at the questions and answers, and like when
Right.
I take the test, I'd be like, "Oh my God, I've seen this before," and
Yeah.
it would just be instant. Like I was just rolling through those
You
tests.
you used the program and the app to kind of help you memorize what you need for the written, right?
Yep,
Gotcha.
exactly.
And I'm sure that gives you a good level of foundation as well going into the rest of the ground knowledge.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
of
Okay.
course.
So for someone else who maybe is struggling with something, let's just give you a little bit of a scenario. You're in commercial or something like that, and you go to like a stage check. And for the listeners who are and the viewers, stage checks at Thrust are just kind of like intermediate tests before you get to your check ride, so that we can kind of gauge your knowledge.
Mhm.
Right? I'm saying that
Yeah,
right. Okay, gotcha.
yeah.
Let's say you get to like your third stage check and and you're with your CFI, and you're like, man, you kind of fail a portion of that ground knowledge. Um, what are you going to do after that? Like, what's the conversation that happens, and then and is there anything particular you're going to do after that?
Yeah, you're just gonna get some retraining done, maybe
Mhm,
schedule another ground and
mhm,
just like an hour or two, sit down with your instructor
mhm,
and they'll like simplify things and
mhm,
explain things more in depth for you.
mhm.
And like by the time you go back to your stage check, you'll know like what you messed up on. You've gotten retrained and you'll be able to do better that next time and
Mhm.
pass, like hopefully. So
Gotcha. And do you like go home and like look up the things that they kind of pointed out where that you didn't do well?
yeah, so like after the stage check, they put like everything that you guys went over and what you passed on and
Hmm.
what you need some more work on in the notes on like FSP.
Mm,
And that is really helpful. I always would like take screenshots of like a lot of the lessons that I had
mm,
just before the stage check so I can review those
hmm.
and just be like, okay, I need to focus a little bit more on this part because like I've been known to like mess up on this a little bit.
Right.
So
And so when there's those specifics that you got to focus on a little bit, like what tools are you using? Are you using just like books or the apps or online or peers? What's like your main method of like really doubling down on something that's
So
yeah.
like ForeFlight, I use ForeFlight and I save so many documents to that.
Hmm.
And they're like a lot of them are FAA related and a lot of them are like thrust given out,
Hmm.
like little study guides,
Hmm.
gouges, all of that kind of stuff.
Sweet.
And it's really helpful just studying on the iPad, getting able to switch, like flip through pages and bookmark like certain things I need to like make sure I know.
That makes sense. And for again for the listeners and viewers, FSP you mentioned earlier, it's the Flight Scheduler Pro.
Yep.
That's how we. It's pretty much everyone's go-to hub for when flights are and what plane you're going to be in, who you're flying with, and maybe even what you're working on. Right. So you're saying when you come out of maybe a stage check or a flight, your instructor might put notes in there, and you can go back to that and look. Right.
Yep.
Did you guys
Exactly.
use anything like that at university? Like, how'd you handle flights?
It was, I think it was on Flight Schedule Pro, but it wasn't like this. Like it was like per lesson. Like if you didn't get to satisfactory on a lesson, you'd have to redo that lesson
Hmm.
and not move on to like the next things.
Mm,
And they were really strict about it there.
yeah.
So it was just like really hard. And
And I hear that you don't get to fly as often, kind of,
oh
so it's hard
yeah.
to like build momentum.
Yeah, they like promised me a certain amount of flight blocks, but I ended up only getting like two or three per week, and it was just not proficient at all. And
Yeah.
here I'm flying like every day or like every other day, which is great.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm the sort of person I got to keep my foot on the
Oh
gas.
yeah, me too,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course.
And I will. We're gonna go into a little bit about the CFI ratings and what it's like doing that. But I kind of want to take this moment to kind of compare a little bit. Your like maybe there's a learning style for you that works, and it kind of seems like you mentioned something about what kind of student you were in school, and then like college is like maybe I should go to do something like thrust. Personally, I'm a much more hands-on kind of person. I'm an involved and engaged and get on my feet kind of guy,
Oh yeah.
and I can learn well in those scenarios. Like it's kind of impressive how much I can learn in that scenario in comparison to like classroom setting. So I guess my question to you will be, do you feel like you learn better in the way that you're learning here at Thrust versus in your average school setting?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like here at Thrust, they provide you with like being able to go inside the aircrafts that aren't flying. You can
Hmm.
hook up like a little external power unit,
Hmm.
get in there, mess with the controls, mess with like approaches
Mm.
and all of that. And that's really helpful throughout like instrument and CFII even.
Hmm.
So that, and then there's like plenty of things around the airport, like little instruments and engines and stuff that you can
Hmm.
look at.
Mm.
And then also for me, I'm a very visual person, so I need to watch YouTube and
Yeah.
Flight Insight. That
Yeah.
guy is just awesome. He goes through everything
Yeah.
and very
So
in
I'm gonna
depth.
start copying Flight Insight. You hear that one? But there's a couple of channels actually I've been meaning to go through. Is there any other channels that you kind of compare? Because people mention Flight Insight a lot.
Yep, there's that, and then I'm not sure like if there's. I know there's a ton of like other YouTubers and stuff. I don't know them off the top of my head, but I know like I'm subscribed to them. So if
Mm.
I see a video pop out and I'm like, oh, I need to look at that a little bit, I'll probably go watch that video.
So was it kind of hard to kind of accept at some point? Because you said you went to university. Personally, I went through community college for a little while, and I started working, and I realized, I do a little bit better in this learning scenario. So I kind of just doubled down outside of community college. Um, did you kind of like have to accept that this is going to be better for me?
Yeah, kind of like at the university, it was just a bunch of lectures and sitting in there for like an hour at a time, trying to
Right.
get down all the information you can.
Hmm.
And like I'm an active guy. I can't just sit down for like a long periods of time like at a
Mm-hmm.
college. So
Same. Yeah.
yeah, there's that, and then there's also online college. Like that's great throughout like flight training. You can take like a little bit of courses at a
Mm-hmm.
time, working towards your degree, not gonna affect anything.
Mm.
And I
So
think
good.
that's really helpful as well. Just
Gotcha.
always keeping your foot on the gas, like you said.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that way. That's kind of have to be that way. And I guess the reason I asked that is because I just wanted to know if there's any sort of night and day between the university and going to like a Part 141 school that you kind of wish you knew earlier.
It's very structured. I love it how it's like super
Okay, okay.
structured and they get to every point and
Hmm.
before each stage check, you like know what you're going to be tested on. You're
Hmm.
ready for that and the instructor will like sign you off when they know you're ready to.
Yeah.
So that's like very important to me. I'm
Hmm.
just making sure you're ready and not
Hmm.
just going in blind. So
Okay, gotcha. And then I guess my last question about that is if there's anyone who's considering like maybe they want to do university and maybe they want to do Part 60. Well, you didn't necessarily go to Part 61, but
yeah.
um, and then maybe they want to do a Part 141. Is there some things they should think about going into it? Like what can they weigh against each other to help them decide?
Yep, just do your research, like look at the school, maybe go and do like a little walk around, like a little tour. I know they do plenty of those at Addison here.
Hmm.
I see a lot of like new people walking around and
Hmm.
just like taking a view of the airport. The fleet that we have, it's great. Air conditioning, love it, gotta love it.
Right.
It's really hot here, and then
Yeah.
all the people again, they're just super nice. They'll help you out with anything. So
Hmm.
if you see anyone in a black shirt or even a red shirt, like just go up to them, ask them,
Hmm.
and they will be more than happy to help you.
Gotcha. Yeah, and on that note, guys, we do tours obviously. So if you're anywhere near a thrust flight, whether it be somewhere in Texas or out in our Phoenix, Arizona location, we'll happily give you a tour just so you can kind of get a feel for things and check out the planes and see what our facility looks like. And then, like you mentioned earlier too, we do discovery flights. But look, if anyone's thinking about flying, look up flight school near me. It doesn't have to be thrust flight. Most people do discovery flights, and it'll be something that kind of helps you decide what to do next because you'll get to go up in a plane and put your hands on the controls and see how it really feels to keep flying. So you know, check out a flight school near you on Google and find a discovery flight.
Yep.
uh, if you or I'm sorry, once you started working on your CFI rating, what was something that was difficult there for you that you kind of had to kind of adapt to?
Definitely, I already knew the answer to that question. Is definitely the psychology aspect, like learning like the fundamentals of instruction, how to
Hmm.
like connect with people and how to actually teach them like very good.
Hmm.
And that was just like a struggle for me. And there's a
Hmm.
bunch of like FOIs to study. But like once you got the hang of it, it came so easy. By the time the EOC came around, I just like flew through it. So
Right.
it felt great.
Right.
And
And I feel like that's one of those situations where it really is a difference in mentality too.
yeah,
Um, have you been in any situations already? Well, you did because you went through your check ride. What's it like trying to be on the other side where you're the one kind of responsible for maybe teaching someone something or maybe the way a flight goes? Because even on your check ride, they kind of put you in that position, right?
yep, you have to teach throughout the check ride, and I
Yeah.
mean it's scary, but it's very exciting too at the same
Yeah.
point. You're like, "Oh my God, like I'm almost there. I'm getting to the point where I can like actually teach people how to fly." And that's
Hmm.
just awesome. Like it's such a good responsibility to have, I
Hmm.
think, and very important.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's just great. Yeah.
It feels like you know, are you like nervous about sharing information with someone that they're going to rely on? Like, for example, when you're even in your check ride, you're having to talk to an EOC or DPE about, hey, here's why you do X, Y, and Z. Uh, I guess I want to know if that's like nerve wracking, I guess, at all to let me rephrase this a little bit. Uh, when you're on a check ride for your CFI and you're talking to the DBE or EOC, and they know a bit more than you, then maybe they're a little more experienced. Are you nervous, or did you feel confident? Were you kind of excited? What did that feel like?
Yeah, definitely a little nervous. I was nervous before like every check ride or
Yeah.
EOC, but definitely like very excited to be at that moment in my training. Like, oh
Hmm.
my God, I'm about to get this certificate. That's super cool to think about.
Right.
And it helped because like I had great instructors, and like they say, like how you were taught is how you're going to teach. So
Right.
that really stuck with me. And I think, yeah, I would have the ability to teach other people like the way that my great instructors taught me. So
Right. That makes sense. Okay. All right. And then now you're working on your CFII. Is there much difference there? Where are you at with that?
yep, there's a pretty big difference, I would say, because like we've been focusing on commercial and CFI, which are like really high maneuver based and like
Mm-hmm.
how to do things very technical. And same with instrument, but
Mm-hmm.
it's been a little bit of a break since I've done some instrument flying, so
Right.
it's like getting back into the move of things, and it's like relearning it a little bit, but like
Mm-hmm.
just going over it, and it comes back easier than I thought it would. So
Mm-hmm.
it's going good. It's
Yeah.
really exciting to even like move forward on the CFII and
Right.
become an instructor, being able to teach an instrument student. That's just crazy to me. So
Right.
that's
And
really
you're
cool.
nearing the end of the program that we have here, right? Because since you're that far along, do you go straight into multi after this?
Yes, sir. Straight into
All right.
multi-engine. Yep, and the
Yeah.
Seminole. That'll be really cool.
Yeah, get to fly something with two engines on it. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
The reason I asked that is because afterwards, it seems like you'll get an interview with Thrust. Everyone gets at least an interview with Thrust. Is there anything that you're kind of like looking forward to? Do you have any other options you're considering? Yeah,
Not really, no.
yeah,
Don't have really any other options right now.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to the interview. It's
Hmm.
gonna teach me some things,
Hmm.
and I think it would be great, like a great opportunity for sure.
Yeah,
This program's awesome,
yeah,
and I would love to be like a part of it longer if I could.
yeah.
But if
Absolutely.
not, like I know there's like plenty of other flight schools around.
Hmm.
The DFW area is huge, and
Yeah,
yeah, I would be like even down to like go to another location or anything like that too.
absolutely.
So, because like I heard Thrust just opened up a new location in Arizona,
Yeah.
beautiful there. So
It
that's
is.
pretty
It is
cool.
really nice. I mean, it gets pretty hot, but honestly, I
Yeah,
think the sights. I've gotten to see some of the footage from their flights, and I think it's really pretty out there.
yeah, it's just
The
beautiful.
landscape is awesome. Yeah. And I was curious. Is your ultimate goal to get to the airlines, or is it some sort of other flying job you could get?
Definitely like go to the
Hmm.
airlines. Cause like my brother, he's at Republic Air right now,
Hmm.
and he's gonna upgrade to captain soon, and then hopefully switch to the major airline.
Hmm.
Just any, I think those venture out into like the four big ones.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of just like following his footsteps, applying to all the cadet programs I can. That's very important.
Right.
Apply to all of your cadet programs you
Yeah.
can. I know a lot of like instructors that like haven't applied to a lot of cadet programs, and they're just like at their hours waiting,
Yeah.
and it's just like it helps keep the train moving
Yeah.
100%.
Gets you involved too, and kind of helps you figure out different outlets and pathways to the airlines, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything about the airlines that like, did your brother do their cadet program, right?
Yes, he
Uh,
did do the cadet program, and
mhm,
that's like the reason that he was able to go to the regionals before a lot of his peers did, like that he went through training with, because
mhm,
he was on the gas, like always
mhm,
applying to cadet programs. And
yeah.
it's good to apply to a bunch because you'll have the pick of the litter. You want to be able to choose what cadet program you go to, and then not choose you. Like you want
Right.
to have the
Again, because different ones have different requirements and
yeah.
benefits and things like that, right?
Yep.
Um, uh, well, yeah, you're gonna have to let us know when you hear back from some of those.
Yeah, of
Uh,
course.
do you have anywhere you're trying to live after you kind of land a job, maybe after getting your hours or ATP?
Yeah, so like my brother, he's in Indiana right now for the
Hmm.
regional, but his ultimate goal is to come back to DFW, be based in DFW with a
Hmm.
major airline. I think that's a really good goal to have. Again, I love to travel, so if I had to go to another state for the regional and live there for like 2 3 years, I would definitely do that.
Right.
It would be cool.
So I mean, you talk about wanting to travel and I mean you like flying. I kind of want to try to get a better idea of like your motivation for it because I know there's difficult times or whatever. It's not the easiest thing, so you really you really need to want to do it.
Hmm.
What is it that you like about flying? Like, could you try to describe that to someone if they just didn't understand?
You're taking a step back from reality. You're in a machine that's just thousands of pounds, thousands of feet in the air, and you're like,
Mhm.
wow, how is this thing flying? Like
Yeah,
pure magic, like literally. But
yeah,
it's just really cool, especially like the views that you see, like while you're
hmm,
flying. If you're
hmm,
flying at like sunset or sunrise,
hmm,
it's just like wow, like that's one of the big reasons I got into it.
hmm.
It's just beautiful up there,
It's kind of
flying around.
magical to think that humans can fly. To
Yeah,
be honest,
literally.
well, and you talk about wanting to travel potentially. Is there anywhere you're kind of looking forward to getting to travel to?
Yeah, so I think like flying overseas would be cool at one point, maybe like far down the road, flying
Hmm.
overseas to like Europe or
Hmm.
Asia. That'd be really cool.
Hmm.
Great opportunity.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not really sure yet.
Yeah.
I'm just still deciding.
Exactly.
There's so many like roads you can take with aviation. It's really cool. You can go private, commercial, all that
Hmm.
stuff. Like it's great.
Yeah. And I hear that too. And a lot. It's. I mean, you're still relatively early in your journey, so that makes sense that you're like, look, man, I'm just still putting one foot in front of another.
Yep.
Um, do you have you had any moments where you had to kind of like rely on maybe asking your brother, your dad, or like, hey, like what, like how does this go, or could you help me understand this? Have you had any of those moments?
Yeah, I asked my brother, like if I before I go do a check ride, I'll be
Hmm.
like, "Hey, what was your experience with this? Like,
Yeah.
what were your struggles?"
Right.
Because I probably have the same a little bit,
Yeah.
and he would help me. He would guide me and be like, "Dude, like you're good, you're ready, don't
Mhm.
worry about it." And then the stress would just like go away, and I'd be
Right.
confident, and that's very important for your EOCs or stage checks or any of those. You want to be confident in yourself
Hmm.
because like if you're not, then you won't perform as well. So.
Right. Is there? I guess what I want to know is, can you think of any instances where you've maybe had to talk to either a CFI or your brother and be like, "Hey, there's just like something here that I'm not getting," and what was that thing?
Yeah, probably like throughout instrument, because
Hmm.
like maneuvers I would understand. They're very like step by step based,
Hmm.
and if you just follow the steps, you'll be good. But instrument, like just diving into the electronics of things like the G1000, all of
Right.
that, it's really complex computer. Like
Yeah.
if you're just seeing it for the first time, which
Yeah.
my other school did not have those, so
Yeah.
I had to get used to those. And Microsoft Flight Sim's great, little learning tool too. You can just play around with that in
Yeah. It's
there.
a lot.
And
Yeah.
my brother and me, we would just sit down like at my computer playing Microsoft Flight Sim
Hmm.
and just mess around with planes, the instruments inside, building things, and yeah, that helped me a lot. So
Yeah, that makes sense. And I hear that a lot too. That a lot of people were just big fans of the Microsoft Flight Simulator before they ever, started flying, and
yeah,
they say they still do it, and it's so helpful.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's like great. You can literally replicate your training. Like as you get
yeah.
home, you can just go literally do
Go
the
try it
same
again.
training thing. Yeah, exactly.
It's really
It's
cool.
cool.
Um, so I'm trying to get like a bigger picture of the different things that have kind of helped you all like throughout all of it, right? Is there anything that's kind of you've consist? Is there any behaviors or characteristics you think that have helped you all throughout flight training so far that you think maybe someone else could learn from? Because I know for me, right, like I ask a lot of questions, and maybe not everyone is comfortable doing that.
Hmm.
But I know that that's gonna be what helps me. Is there anything like that for you?
Yeah, definitely just keep being dedicated and think about like why you got into it in the first place,
Hmm.
and that'll keep you motivated.
Hmm.
And also like connections, like just talking to as many people at the airport as you can.
Hmm.
Like that's really important. They'll help you
Hmm.
out through your journey.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I would say like connections, hardworking, dedicated, keep
Hmm.
studying. Don't just like take a
Hmm.
break and not do anything for a little while. Like
Yeah.
keep your foot on the gas. It's very important. I think.
So try to give me a picture of like maybe a day in your training, maybe a busy day, a day where it kind of takes a little extra hard work. If you could, like almost like a little bit of a timeline. Is that could you do that?
Yeah, maybe like CFI Academy for
Yeah.
me. It was like it was in Denison, so we stayed there for like 2 weeks and
Hmm.
it was like 9 to 5, like really long days of just like studying and lectures and presentations,
Hmm.
being able to present in a class
Hmm.
like of 20 other people that just passed their commercial check ride, so they know their stuff. So
Right.
you got to know your stuff too or
Yeah.
act like it.
Yeah.
So um, like that was really good learning curve,
Hmm.
and helped me connect with a lot more people way better too because like we were all in the same boat, just trying to get our CFI
Yeah.
and
Makes
go
sense.
through that academy. And it was hard and challenging, but like I think everyone got through it in the end. So
Right. Right. Is there anything that you kind of did though there that was sort of like you're like, oh man, I'm gonna have to like read this book tonight, or I'm gonna have to go through a study group, and that's like the extra work.
yep, study
Yeah.
groups, huge thing. Like we would just after the class ended, we would go back to the housing that they had us, and we just form like groups of like I was in a group of like 7 guys, and I think a few girls too, and we would just study together,
Hmm.
write notes, and do everything, and it was just a great time, like getting to know all of them and studying
Mm,
at the same time. Like it just helped us retain everything like way better
yeah.
and helped us like do well in the academy.
Yeah, that would make sense. And I'm that way. I'm like very group. I can take on a group mentality sometimes. That can in a good way to help myself.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if I'm just by myself, I'll get bored.
Yep, exactly. Or
Yeah.
I get distracted. I get
Mhm.
distracted way too easily. So,
Exactly. If I'm in a group that's on on cue and they know what's going on and they're staying focused, it's a little bit easier.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
and vice versa if they're not focused.
Yep.
I'm that way. Okay, so uh, I want to know, do you have like a certain time frame by which you think you're gonna be kind of done with our program now? How many more months do you have left?
I would say probably. So I know like CFAA is kind of like a quick course, like one of the quickest. You can do it in like a week,
Right.
depending on like the time of the academy and everything. But I would say probably like another month, month and a half tops for like being done with CFAA and multi-engine. And like my thing, I'm not just trying to get through it as fast as possible. I'm trying to get through it and like know everything about it too.
Exactly.
Like that's what's really important to me. Just
And what do you mean by that? Really? How can you describe that?
like not rushing through my
Hmm.
training, like
Hmm.
just really understanding everything and
Hmm.
why and like why it's important for us to know it. Like that's what's really important to me.
Gotcha.
Like I want to be the greatest instructor I could be. So
Yeah, I would take that. I feel that way too when it comes to me maybe being in a position to where I have to like teach someone. I want to really know what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
exactly. Yeah.
How do you know that you've kind of like gotten a concept down? Is there something like, do you feel like is there something you do in your studying, or how do you know?
Yeah, like I do a lot of like studying in my head before I go to bed. Like
Hmm.
I'm just laying in my bed thinking about studying and like all like acronyms and
Hmm.
steps to do things. I'm like chair
Hmm.
flying in my head because like I have the picture of the cockpit. Like
Right.
it's good. It's great. Like
Yeah.
when you're first starting off in private, sitting in front of that thing and doing your chair flying is amazing. It'll
Yeah.
help you when you fly like every flight. So that's really important. And then once you get good at that, like I mean, at least for me, I just do it in my head now, go through maneuvers, all that, like the flows and everything,
Mm.
and helps me fall asleep too. So,
Yeah, it's something to think about while you go to sleep.
yeah,
I've thought about that. I used to do something where I had to memorize a lot of things in a row, and I used to just show up to practice, and then be like, oh yeah, and then go home and continue with life, and then show up to practice and not focus on it at home at all, thinking I could just get it all in the practice session.
yeah,
And so I guess what I'm wondering is, uh, if someone's not doing what you just said, like chair flying, and maybe they're thinking like it's kind of weird, or like what's the point of that, or how helpful is it? Can you kind of like help drill that in, what you're doing when you do that?
yeah.
Mhm.
I would be like, I thought the same thing. I thought it was kind of stupid just sitting in front of a piece of paper, like staring at it, like
Yeah.
looking at what am I gonna do. But like once you start doing it and get the hang of it, and you can do it without like any checklists or anything, like it
Hmm.
just becomes like second nature. Like you'll
Hmm.
just do it so much easier in the airplane, be way more calm when you're
Hmm.
doing it, not
And the idea is to
stressed.
not have to think about it in the moment, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's like training the habit of it, right? Muscle
Yeah.
memory.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
So what are some of the mental things that you've kind of like learned by the time you got through CFI that they're training you on? Like resignation, authority, things like that. Can you tell me a little more?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like those are like hazardous attitudes for pilots.
Hmm.
You don't want to be like experiencing those really, but
Hmm.
if you do, there's always an antidote. Just
Hmm.
like follow the rules.
Hmm.
Like you can't do everything. You're not Top Gun Maverick. Like don't try and like do a barrel roll while you're landing the plane or
Yeah.
whatever. Like just focus on what the task you're doing right now, and training will just come easier, and teaching obviously
Hmm.
will be easier too. Like if
Hmm.
they just understand that you just want to help them, and they understand that you were in their position before, like struggling through training.
Hmm.
I know a lot of people like hit plateaus and
Hmm.
just like can't really progress at a certain point, and
Hmm.
then they just have to go back to like why they're doing it, motivated,
Hmm.
and that kind of stuff.
That makes sense. And you mentioned you kind of called them hazardous attitudes. Is there maybe a list of those sort of things that they're kind of going over with you?
Yeah. So like
A few
uh
examples, anyways.
like a I'm safe checklist kind of thing.
Hmm.
Like just make sure you're ready to go. You've slept enough and you've eaten enough.
Hmm.
Like you know what you're gonna do. You're gonna want to keep them informed as well. Like
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like listing off FOIs right now.
Yeah,
It's kind
exactly.
of funny.
FOIs is that's what it what does FOI stand for real quick?
Fundamentals of instruction. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yes, and I guess that's what I was wondering. There's some fundamentals of instruction they talk about. Um, okay, gotcha. Is there one fundamental of instruction that kind of stood out to you at all that maybe you're like, oh, that's a big unlock for me?
Yeah, like the defense mechanisms that really stood out to me because like you would learn the different defense mechanisms that students would use, like saying like, "I didn't do that." Like, no, at least I did this good, and
Hmm.
like I did the same thing when I was in training as well. So,
Yeah.
like everyone's human, like they're gonna want to be perfect, but no one is perfect. So you're just wanna.
How do you kind of help someone overcome that like thought process that are like, oh, kind of defiant on feedback and not really, taking in the changes they need to make? How do you work on that?
Yeah, so it depends on the severity, I think.
Yeah.
Like, if they're just like not in the right headspace, probably just like call the flight there, maybe just work on it another day, talk to them
Hmm.
after. But if they like think they can do anything, you're gonna want to like put them back in their position. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you don't know everything, like
Yeah.
kind of stuff like that.
And did you have to ever go through something like that? Because I know I have my own defense mechanisms and things like that. Is there any situations where I see if I had to get real with you?
Yeah, definitely. Like at my old school for sure,
Hmm.
because it was a different community and camaraderie with
Hmm.
like the CFIs too. Sometimes, like if you had a bad flight, I know a lot of other students at this place experienced it. Like they would just be super mad at you and just like not talk to you at all, and you'd just be like sitting looking out the window, like daydreaming, like oh, I can't wait till I get on the ground.
That's so awkward.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
uh,
But here, I've never experienced that here at Thrust. Like
oh wow.
their instructors are great. They would just want to help you out and like fix all of your issues. Like it's great.
Yeah, because they want to make sure you do well. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, well, I guess I had the question about. Um, sorry, I'm doing bad transition right now. Give me another second. Uh, okay, so like if we zoom out a little bit over your journey throughout, your training, is there anything that you'd want people to know before they start flight training? Maybe something that you kind of wish you knew before starting flight training.
It's a lot of studying. I was never that big of like a studier in high school. I was just focused on like my athletics and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely had to learn how to study well and like what worked out for me, like
Right.
visually, like YouTube, all that stuff. And I'm good at memorizing things, so I would just try and memorize a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely that's a big aspect. And then you're just gonna want to stay proficient, keep
Mm-hmm.
flying as much as you can. Don't go on like a month-long vacation throughout your training. You're gonna come back and be even worse.
Yeah.
Like it's just it doesn't work like that. So you got to just keep going
Mm-hmm.
and keep studying. That's like probably the biggest advice I would give.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. And is there anything that now that you're at this point, is there anything coming up that you're kind of anticipating being difficult that you're preparing for to get better at now?
Yeah,
Uh,
I would say like an EOC or a check ride.
yeah,
Like after the CFII, I'm going to be going into a plane with two engines and flying that.
right.
Never done that before, so I'm probably gonna chair fly that, go through all like checklist stuff before I even get in the plane, so I'm
Hmm.
kind of familiar with everything before I start,
Yeah,
and that'll definitely help me out in the long run and
gotcha.
for that check ride as well.
Looking back on your journey, is there anything that kind of sums up how it's been going so far for you, and in terms of anything that's kind of like changed the way you think?
Definitely rewarding. That's how I would sum it all up. Like for all my hard work, I'm getting the certificates I wanted to get.
Yeah.
It's very rewarding, like doing it next to peers and my friends that are also getting the same accomplishments as me.
Hmm.
I think it's just really cool, and I'm gonna have these connections for the rest of my life
Yeah.
and throughout aviation, which they say is a very small community. So you're
Yeah.
gonna want to put your best foot forward and stay active.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense to me. Well, hey, I appreciate you, Matt, for joining us
yeah, of
on
course.
this episode. I think that a lot of people who maybe are coming out of high school and thinking about what they might want to do could learn a lot from this. And
Yeah,
I mean, I think just hearing from someone else who's been through any sort of similar path can help be helpful. So I hope if you guys are listening now, and if you're still listening, I'm assuming that it's maybe a good time to like and subscribe because you got to the end of the episode. Of course, if you're interested in flying, give your local flight school a call. If you're anywhere near Thrust, we'd be happy to give you a tour or to answer any of your questions. Otherwise, we'll see you guys on the next episode of Pilots Say What, where we get to hear what pilots have to say.